Hey guys, so it's the end of June and it's 95 degrees out, and that means we're ready for the next phase of fall at Bath & Body Works. Yes, so we have the next round of fall candles. We've blasted through the first fall preview, we've blasted through Halloween, and now we're on to the second phase, which I think this is still technically fall one. I'm just being kind of dramatic, but in any case, we have the next lineup of fall candles, and that is the drinks collection right here. So we are going to talk about it. So there was the $14.95 sale, and then yes, there was that, plus there was a 10 off coupon that was that last week, and I had a few knickknacks from that. And there was also PocketBacpalooza going on today, which was $1 PocketBac, so I have that. So just another fall candle haul plus a few knickknacks, and we'll get right into it. The grass allergies are absolutely murdering my nose. So when I mow the lawn, those little stalks or the shoots that come up, I think I'm allergic to it. And so during the summertime, it gets really intense. And so if I sound more nasally than usual, that is the reason. So just bear with me, but I can still sniff stuff and I can still smell the candle that's burning in this room. So we're good to go right now. So yes, let's just get right into the newness. Yes, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe these are already here, but they are. They probably are not out at your store. They're not out at most stores, but I was lucky enough to find a store that did have it. So we'll get right into it. So it was funny because my local store usually doesn't have anything juicy early, but for whatever reason, there was a hunch in me that I was like, I really just need to go to that store today before I go to the other store that's most likely going to have these new juicy candles. And of course I went in there. They didn't have anything new or juicy whatsoever, but I did buy the PocketBacs, and at checkout, there was a leftover 20% off coupon from a previous person, and I asked the sales associate if I could take it, and she was fine with it. So it was crazy because I just had the biggest hunch to go and to that store for whatever reason, and it wasn't for these new candles, but there was a 20% off coupon, and I was like, I would really wish I had a 20% off coupon to use for all these new ones, because I already used my first one at the last haul during the 10 off sale or whatever it was. So I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. If only I could manifest a kind, caring, emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent partner who doesn't play games or doesn't take my kindness for granted. That would be amazing. Just as easy as I can pop up this 20% off coupon that I was really wanting. So it's just crazy sometimes how things happen, but I guess, things all have their time and there's a flow to the universe. So when the time comes, it will come. But in any case, yes. So I got these coupons got these candles for $11.96. So I was really happy about that. So we'll get right into it. The first one we have is Prickly Pear Sangria right here. This, that last year's, this drink collection with the same almost exact cut glass packaging must have done exceptionally well for them to recycle it in just different colors all over again. And so we have this. We have Prickly Pear Sangria. And this is prickly pear syrup, white wine, and freshly sliced fruit infusions, and it's $26.95. It has the Corwix on it, and that's what that looks like. And this is similar to Sparkling Pear Riesling. I don't know if it's exactly it, just because I haven't had Sparkling Pear Riesling since the very first year it came out in that Cork and Vine collection, which is the most beautiful snatch packaging with that gold lid that had the Cork and Vine logo on it. Oh my god, so pretty. And then it's come out a few times afterwards, and I think it was out semi-recently in a green jar for a White Barn Core lineup, and I didn't buy that version, so I don't quite remember if it's exactly this, but I feel like this one's sweeter or fruitier than the original Sparkling Pear Riesling was. I thought the Sparkling Pear Riesling one had a little bit more of a dryness that would be associated with an alcohol or a spirit note or whatever. This one seems a little bit fruitier and juicier, but don't take my word for it because I'm not at all a Sparkling Pear Riesling connoisseur or expert by any means, but it does, however, remind me a lot of the sort of sweet apple, pear, vanilla juiciness that came from the very original heirloom apple that we had from this version, which had the metallic leaf wraparound and this lid on it. This is not to be confused with the heirloom apple that has come out afterwards, past this year. Their very first one was a red Cortland apple, creamy sandalwood, and marshmallow fragrance from 2016 fall, and it was amazing. I love this version. There's a sweet, juicy, apple pear plus a marshmallowy, vanilla, velvety action in there. That's so awesome and so delicious, and that's what the inside looks like. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of that pear, apple, vanilla sweetness that we got from the original heirloom apple. is kind of in here as well. Yeah, so I mean, like, this could be like a pear vanilla, green apple vanilla, just like sweet, or like pear sugar or sugared pear or something like that, and I would believe it. It's quite sweet actually for like a sangria fragrance. So that's prickly pear sangria right there. Kind of excited. We'll see. It has a new ILN number on it, so hopefully it is indeed a new fragrance. But I think if you missed out on sparkling pear Riesling, this could be the next best thing for you. We then have smoked caramel mezcal, which I guess is a drink of some sort. I'm sorry guys, I don't drink at all, so I'm completely ignorant when it comes to like these type of things. And that's what that looks like. A generous pour of smoky mezcal, caramel drizzle, and cinnamon sugar rim. And this one has the rope-like wicks on it. This is, at first when I smelled it in store, I was like, ooh, I like this. There's definitely like a smoky, like velvety, powdery texture to it that I enjoy, that you kind of equate with like your marshmallow fireside type of fragrances. Then the more you smell it, there's kind of like a barbecuey meaty component too. So I enjoy that the smokiness is actually quite present. More present than like, let's say, apple and charcoal's like supposed charcoal smokiness. But then underneath all that, it smells a whole lot like that friggin' Merry Maple Bourbon candle, which was actually the Caramel Oud candle repackaged, which is just crazy. And those two candles, I believe, are the same. And then Caramel Cream Soda is kind of related to in that same like caramel syrup type of drink fragrance. And it's kind of like they mix like a smoky, meaty fragrance with that Merry Maple Bourbon. So that's kind of how this plays out. At first I was really into it, but then it had the reminiscence of Merry Maple Bourbon, which I didn't super love, that I'm just like, oh, it's kind of like that. But we'll have to see. But I enjoy that this actually does smell smoked. So it does have like a sort of like rubbing alcohol, barbecuing meaty, like alcoholic component is in here. So we enjoy that. So smoked caramel mezcal right there. We then have Sweet Whiskey, which I believe this came out, was this in this collection last year? And this like flew out the doors like crazy. I could, like, it was the first to sell out. I couldn't really find them anywhere in most of the stores, even though all the other ones kind of stayed around for a while. So Sweet Whiskey right here, which I believe is also a body care fragrance. And this one's golden amber, vanilla infused whiskey, and sweet red berries. This is kind of like if you took Sunrise Woods and added a smoky, not really smoky, but a heavier whiskey, I guess, drink alcoholic fragrance to it. It's nice. It's like cozy and warm and body care, but still you definitely get like a whiskey type of, I guess it's like a smoky woodsy feel to it. Once again, I don't drink, so I don't really have the comparisons, but yeah. It's nice. It just flew out the door so quickly last year that I was like, okay, let me snatch it this year and see what all the hype is about. So Sweet Whiskey right there. And then we have spiced blackberry cider, and that's what that looks like right here. And this one reads mulled blackberries, simmer cider, and cinnamon stick garnish. And this one has the rope-like wicks on it. This is quite generic. It just smells like a watery berry potpourri fragrance. Very craft store-ish, very much like walking into Michael's or Joann's during the fall time. Very much like that. Yeah, I just like see cinnamon broomsticks and like dried like silk florals from Michael's like in my head when I smell this. It's very like run-of-the-mill, like fall, pleasant, spiced potpourri type of fragrance that you could kind of find anywhere. But there's like definitely a juicy, watery blackberry note to it, which I appreciate. So we'll have to see how it goes, but it's kind of like nice and very basic, kind of like leaves is nice for certain times, Cranberry Woods is nice for certain times, like that type of fragrance. It doesn't smell like anything repackaged. I think Blackberry Spice was a little less juicy and a little bit more glady. And then there's also that the pomegranate cider thing was way sweeter and more bubblegum. It's not that either. We have Blackberry Bramble tea, which was the one that's very similar to Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. It's not that. It doesn't have like that sort of bakery element to it. And then the Blackberry Tea Leaf was the floral tea fragrance. It's not that either. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of more generic than all of those, to be completely honest. It's a little less distinct than all of those. So yeah, spiced blackberry cider right there. We'll see how that goes. And the last one was the cranberry orange seltzer, which smells a whole lot like the sun washed citrus variety of fragrance, which I am so not here for. And I think that was the lineup of all 5 of them in that drinks collection. So look out for that. I think that's supposed to be officially slated for the end of July. So yes. And then let's see. Since I found that 20% off coupon, I was like, let me go and back up one blueberry pumpkin patch. If you saw my review, I said it's pretty much the same as the old one, but still, I don't know, when I go to burn it, it smells a little bit more cheaper or plasticky and generic, but it's still reminiscent and close enough to the original that I was like, I don't need to get like 6 like I had originally intended, but I wouldn't mind another one. So blueberry pumpkin patch right there. It still like performs fine enough. Farm fresh blueberries, ripe pumpkin, and autumn spice. Yeah, it's still a very nostalgic fragrance. It kind of has like a Captain Crunch, like berry cereal to it. So that's blueberry pumpkin patch right there. And then, oh my god, I don't know what it is about these friggin' coffee fragrances that are so highly contested and controversial, but they are for whatever reason. And so I was like, you know what, let me just like pick this one up and just like burn through it and see how it does, just so I can see whether or not it's actually indeed Pear's Cafe or not. So freshly brewed coffee right here. I posted an Instagram story when I smelled this on cold. I've smelled this one literally every time I'm in the store, and I'm just like, this smells literally just like Pear's Cafe. But then I'll get comments of people like, you know, arguing, saying that no, it's most certainly not Pear's Cafe, or I can assure you it's this, that, or the other. And I'm just like, how can you assure me that unless you have the exact formula and information from Bath & Body Works? So unless you are a employee of Bath & Body Works, maybe you have that information. And if you are an employee of Bath & Body Works, feel free to leave that info down in the comments. But in any case, enjoy the room-filling aroma of fresh coffee beans as you pour yourself a cup of ambition. So it doesn't even give you the actual like notes. And so we have Pear's Cafe here, which is rich coffee, brioche, and vanilla creme. This confirmed by ILN. If you haven't watched that whole video, the entire impetus of that ILN ingredients list number, product database on the Bath & Body Works website, the whole impetus for all of that was specifically because on Reddit there was all this information saying Campsite Coffee was not Pear's Cafe. And I'm just like, girl, this just cannot be, because like I've had Campsite Coffee, I've had Pear's Cafe, I've burned through them and everything, and sure enough, the island numbers on that all matched, including the coffee and tonka as well from the Ingredients Plus collection that did not go wide, also had a similar, or rather a same island number as all of those. So like those were confirmed and done. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty, like I can rest easy that those are indeed the same because the ILN is the same. This, however, does not have the same ILN. It has a brand new ILN. And our theory is that there's a lot of candles that we find, you know, are even the same name throughout the years, but because they change the wax color on it, or if the wicks changes, it changes like the product formula, and so they assign a different ILN number to it, is at least what our theory is. Of course, we don't work at Bath & Body Works, so we can't confirm that. But that is what the theory is. And so on this one, like maybe the reason the ILN number is new is because it's the first time I think Pear's Cafe has been in dark brown wax with thick rope-like wicks. I think it's usually been in, it was that like off grayish color the very first year it came out in that Merci Pear's collection, and then it's been usually white. But even when I open this and I close the lid on it, I'm like, this literally just smells like Pear's Cafe. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently it's supposed to be a lighter, sweeter version of it, but then some people were saying that Pear's Cafe was sweeter because it had a toasted brioche note. But like this, it smells so burnt and nasty at this point. This one really struggled. It was one of the lighter Pear's Cafes that I can't compare it apples to apples. But like when I smell this, it has that same like roast rich roasty coffee bean aroma to it. It has even that sort of like slightly roasty brioche, and it was like donuts in the Campsite Coffee version. I guess it's Tonka in the coffee and Tonka version. I hate that I even have to like buy this again to test it out to see if it's actually Pear's Cafe or not. Like you just get like so confused because like that's what Bath & Body Works does, is they gaslight you, and like no one likes being gaslit. Like whether it's from a person or from a company, it's like, please don't like, you know, call us crazy for saying one thing when you clearly did one thing, or, you know, insinuating that you're unhinged when you have a certain healthy response to crazy behavior that somebody did, or inconsistent behavior, and you call them out on it and they try to deny it. Like no one likes being gaslit, and no loyal consumer from Bath & Body Works likes being gaslit. So if you do gaslight people out there, please don't do it. It's not nice to gaslight people. And if you do continue to do it, trust that karma is coming your way. Karma is coming for your ass. So yeah, in any case, so yeah, it's just, it's just crazy because it like creates these wars, so to speak, in the candle community, because it's just like Bath & Body Works gaslights us so many times that we don't know what's actually like up or down. And it's like, is this Paris Cafe? Like, by all accounts, I feel like for me it smells like Paris Cafe, but then you start second guessing yourself, and that's what happens when you are constantly gaslit in life. So we don't love that, but yeah, so we'll see how this does. Like, I am totally the first to admit when I'm wrong or if I change my mind about something, so that's why I kind of bought it, just to see if when I go to burn it, maybe it actually is not Paris Cafe. So we will see, but I would say at least 90% the same as Paris Cafe. So freshly brewed coffee right there. And so there was that. And then I had, let's see, 2 more candles that I bought during the last sale on the 10 off 40 or whatever happened. And I was really jonesing for Mahogany Apple, because I think the very first one I had was from the very first time it came out. And I finished that last year, and I actually kind of really enjoyed it. And so I was like, let me get Mahogany Apple in this packaging this year. And I've already burned it like twice. And the notes on this read, red mahogany woods, golden delicious apple, and pink peppercorn with fresh lavender sprigs. And this one has the core wicks on it, and oh my god, I love this. This is just delicious. I feel like they've actually maybe slightly tweaked the fragrance. I feel like the very first version I had from like 2017 or whatever it was with the photo label had more of a stronger mahogany teakwood element to it, whereas this one has like a very juicy, like apple juice sweetness to it that I really enjoy. Like, it's pretty much the same fragrance for all intents and purposes, but for whatever reason, this feels like it's a little bit stronger on the sweet apple juice that takes the edge off of how harsh mahogany teakwood is. Actually really enjoy this. Like, I really started liking mahogany coconut. I don't know, mahogany teakwood has really grown on me for whatever reason in the past few years. So mahogany apple right there. I think it was like when mahogany vanilla came out, like for whatever reason I flipped and started liking mahogany teakwood. And then I think somebody in my live was saying Cranberry Woods was strong this year, and I was like, okay, well, let me try that. And so we have that right there in the Roach Wing collection. And this is tart cranberry, cinnamon bark, forest cedar, and golden amber. And I have already burned this one, I believe, 3 times. And unlike the person in the live videos experience, mine was not very strong at all whatsoever. It's actually very light and very like watered down. It's like a very generic craft store type of fragrance. Again, you get the juicy cranberry in there. It's quite tart, and then mixed with like a lot of like the cinnamon spices from the fall time. And it's a very like basic potpourri fragrance that's just kind of nice and cozy, and it just feels very craft store fall time-ish, which is not at all the vibe that's going on right now in my environment, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. But it's very, very light. It's very like watered down, and I remember Cranberry Woods being much stronger, but I don't know. I think this was also had a deceptive repackage of Sun-Drenched Vineyard Rainier from the Cork and Vine collection. We're just talking about Sparkling Pure Riesling, yeah. And yeah, so there's that. It's nice, but it's just very, very like watered down and light by itself. Like, it gets very much lost in here. So I will pair this with pumpkin cinnamon bun to create like a cranberry cinnamon bun experience, like a cinnamon bun that had like a cranberry jam on it or something, or a cranberry marmalade that was spiced, and the two together are quite nice. It just kind of gives the pumpkin cinnamon bun a little bit more than just the vanilla frosting aspect, and then also makes this a little less basic and amps it up. So that was a very nice blend for this. So nice blender candle. And there was that. And then on that 10 off 40 transaction, we have some hand soaps. I raved about Rose and Amber in my past video, so I bought a second one for myself and one for my mother as well, and there was that right here. Soft rose petals, warm amber, and rich vanilla. Amazing rose marshmallow fragrance. Check out that video. I did a dedicated hand soap review video. If you like blush poinsettia or love rose vanilla, check this out. I would love this in a candle and body care. Amazing. And then we have pumpkin apple right here, and that's what that looks like. Red delicious apple, fall pumpkin, and clove buds. This one's a little bit different in the hand soap than it is in the candle. It's a little bit more spicy and a little less watery appley, but it's nice. It's a very quintessential fall, and it's like getting me in the mood for fall when cooler weather finally hits here in like December. So pumpkin apple right here. And then there was PocketBacpalooza today, which was $1 PocketBacs in-store only, or 5 for $5 online. And so I did 4 of them in store. Apparently, like, this collection was like all the craze on social media. So I was like, okay, let me check. The Fruit Squeeze one was some generic boring ass citrus fragrance that I really didn't care about. Marshmallow Treat was nice, but it was very much like your Marshmallow Fireside type of like marshmallow ooey gooey vanilla mixed with a little bit of like crystallized amber powdery action kind of chilling in the background. I contemplated that one, but the issue with like fragrances like those is like you pocket back when you kind of like want to wash your hands or cleanse or sanitize them. So then when you put something that smells like gooey, sticky marshmallows, my hands actually don't feel clean because they smell like I've been like, you know, like putting them in gooey marshmallows. So I was like, I like this fragrance, but not for my hands for a pocket bag. Afternoon Apple Picking is just your generic ass apple fragrance that I don't care about. And that left Pink Bubblegum, which I haven't even used yet, so I can't even speak to what it smells like. But I assume it smells like pink bubblegum. I don't know. It wasn't like cute retro packaging, so I got it. We have Blueberry Bourbon, and that's what that looks like. Another instance where I feel like I'm being gaslit or bamboozled by Bath & Body Works. So you think blueberry and bourbon, and you're like, ooh, just like a fresh, juicy berry fragrance with bourbon. And like, when you smell this, it's kind of like that. But when you use it and the dry down, oh boy, I just used this earlier, and it smells like Dream Bright or like 1,000 Wishes type of like super perfumey, like berry body care floral fragrance. Totally dry down on this. And so I kept smelling my hands and I was like, it smells like 1,000 Wishes or Dream Bright. Like this could be some holiday berry floral, and I would believe it. Actually a lot more like perfumey than I would have thought. It's interesting that Bath & Body Works is very much like their marketing and gaslighting again in terms of like putting out these like perfumey body care fragrances under a neutrals packaging to see if it performs better as a neutrals name. Like case in point, Black Jasmine and Currant, or whatever that thing is called, is like totally 1,000 Wishes, but it's Black Jasmine and Currant in the Neutrals collection with not glitzy holiday packaging. And this is very similar to like your 1,000 Wishes Dream Bright type of like berry floral with like, you know, bourbon could be like sparkling champagne or something, we would believe it. So yeah, it's interesting. Bath & Body Works is a huge marketing machine, let me tell you. Like I believe above anything else is like labeling, moods, and naming for Bath & Body Works is like top priority to see how can we take this fragrance and market it in like A, B, C, D, E, F, G ways, and like which performs the best with what visual and all that kind of stuff. They are at the top of their game when it comes to marketing, but it's just for us, like we start getting crazy because it's just like, this smells like this, but it's called this, or like it was called this in one name, but another name in this one. It just gets crazy. So Blueberry Bourbon right there. Another one that I'm like, okay, this kind of smells like something else too. Coconut Cardamom right here. This totally smells like pumpkin coconut to me when I used it. And I love that. Yeah, it has like a nutty, spicy component that I guess is coming from the cardamom that's similar to like the nutmeg nuttiness that we got from pumpkin coconut. And of course it's mixed with coconut as well. So if you're looking for, it might not be exactly it, but something similar to the pumpkin coconut fragrance, check out this. It's very much in that line of like a spiced coconut fragrance. And lastly, we have Pear Vanilla, and that's what that is. This is kind of nice at the beginning, but then for whatever reason, a lot of Bath & Body Works fragrances tend to, the pear in Bath & Body Works tend to smell like Play-Doh, and this was no exception. It smelled like vanilla Play-Doh when it dried down. So juicy at the beginning, but then it kind of smelled like Play-Doh afterwards. So, So Pear Vanilla right there. And that was PocketBacpalooza for me. And that was that. Fresh Coconut Cotton is now in a pocket bag, which is pretty juicy, but that scent is quite strong that I'm like, I feel like I would get a headache if I was walking around with that on my hands. And was there anything else new or noteworthy? I don't think so. And so that was it. Thanks so much if you watched this whole rambly ass video. And I will get to burning these candles and putting them in the queue of the reviews that I have not done on anything yet. So yes, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.